What did you guys do this past week?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
That's been the perks of the winter time and the breaks in between weddings. Loving it.
Yep.
Well, we're in the middle of spring break. Oh, you know what? We went to see 2 movies this past weekend.
Did you watch Dune?
We watched Dune.
No, we did not watch Dune. We watched Kung Fu Panda and Ghostbusters. Yeah. Yep. That was our spring break, and that's pretty much going to be it.
We were gonna go to some Broadway shows and stuff, but they just want to play video games.
And it's gonna be raining the whole week.
Yeah, it's really crappy out.
But at least the weather's gonna be nice next week. So does that mean that the Laos and the Molinas are gonna go on a bike ride? We're gonna do a bike ride?
They're gone.
We're in El Salvador next week.
We'll be gone for like 10 days.
Lucky you.
Lucky you.
I think I may be there too. What are you doing? What are you going to be doing, Ben Lau?
I guess watching the kids. What do you guys? You guys had to see family, right? Family a little bit.
A little bit.
Yes and no. That's not the sole purpose of the trip, but yeah, while we're there, we're going to see a couple of relatives.
When was the last time you visited?
Maybe 5 years ago when my grandmother passed away. Yeah, so it's changed a lot. It's a lot of tourism right now. Right now is the best time to go. Mm-hmm. It's always been one of the most dangerous countries in Latin America, and that's changed the last 5 years. So
really,
yeah,
it's a trip we never thought we would take together, and they cleaned up. So we're excited.
Wait, have you ever been, Jen?
No, I wasn't gonna go. It was too dangerous. It was like legit.
So this is your first time.
Yeah,
this is your first time going back to like the motherland.
Mm-hmm. Well, his motherland.
Yeah, his motherland. That is.
You know, the thing is, anytime we go to Asia and stuff, we always have to. If we're anywhere in proximity of Korea, we always end up going there. Any of our Asia trips, we always end up in Korea.
Yeah. Duh. Of course.
But when's your first wedding? When you guys get back?
We have
two this weekend.
Yeah. Oh, and then we have a nice little break again. We have like maybe 5-6 weeks off. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's such a weird year. Like everything is spaced out right now for us, and we're not used to it. We're always like, once April hits, we hit the ground running, and right now it's like we'll get a taste, have a break, get another taste, have another break, and it's kind of weird.
But it's not bad. I mean, I'd rather take this than not doing anything for a whole year like COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
True.
But speaking about getting back up to gear and everything, right, up to speed, our editor just came back yesterday. It was her first day back after going on maternity leave for about 3 months. I didn't think we were going to survive for those 3 months, right? But she came back yesterday, and it's almost like, you ever seen Incredibles? Where she's like, I just cleaned up this mess like 5 minutes ago, right?
Yeah.
She hasn't even been gone for that long. Well, it doesn't seem like that long, right? But apparently I made a huge mess with all these edits and stuff. Because the thing is, yes, I have AI helping me out and stuff, but ever since Jeannie's been in my life, I don't really edit that much from start to finish. You know what I mean? I only do like the finishing touches. So I know how to do it. It's just I'm not as good as she is because I don't really do it as like every day like she does. So she's like, oh my God, I can't believe you let this out the door. And I get blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, well, I'm glad that you're back. I'm glad that you're back. So, but speaking of having our workflows being a little bit more streamlined, having our work delegated and then automated, right? I think that's a good segue to our guest of today's episode, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Good segue. You guys like that?
I love it. Perfect.
All right. Are you guys ready to get started?
We are.
Let's do it.
All right. Hey guys, welcome to the Focus AF podcast. My name is Ben.
I'm Karis.
It's Jen.
And I'm Ro.
And we're kind of focused AF today. Maybe a little bit. At least maybe some of us are.
I'm getting there.
So today's special guest is actually a friend of the podcast, a friend of the summit as well. But Jen, why don't I let you introduce our special guest today?
Today's guest is Angela Shea of socialtemplates.co. I found Angela about almost a year ago now, I think, on Instagram. As you know, I love making reels and social media. And after hiring a social media firm that did a terrible job, I was like, there has to be a way to do this with templates and things. Quick search. She popped up and I've been a fan ever since. So welcome, Angela.
Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Thanks for having me. I actually didn't know that's how you found me. That's really good intel.
Yeah, I think it was just like real templates. There were some that were like on Instagram, like I think it's literally called just real templates, like an account, but their templates were so like fast paced and like with like such like club music, and I was like, this doesn't work for me. And then I found you.
Yay, amazing. I've loved getting to know
you. Well, what we love to get from you first is just kind of get a history of you, where you started. I know you were a photographer first, and then this is kind of where your journey has taken you. So give us the whole background.
Amazing. Okay, so yes, I was a wedding photographer for over a decade. I started out really young. I started my business at 19, had little babies, and was shooting weddings all across America, traveling a ton. We were living in the Pacific Northwest at the moment. Very, very rainy. Our wedding season was condensed to like 5 weekends, right? I was shooting like double weekends because everything kind of gets jam-packed into the same month. And then it kind of just ended up being a very toxic cycle for me. And I think part of it was just, being so young in the business world and not knowing how to set boundaries and prioritize. And then also just like hustling really hard and trying to be like the best at everything, being like the best mom, the best business owner, like the best friend, all the things, and just exhausting myself. And I would work real hard throughout the year. And then by fall, everybody would want all of their images and sneak peeks from summer. And then fall mini sessions would come around. And then you would try to get everything to everyone before the holidays. And then like holidays would hit. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I just missed summer completely. Fall didn't happen for me. And now it's raining again. And now like I'm stuck indoors. And it was just this vicious cycle for a good 10 years, or probably a little bit less before I had my mental breakdown at that point. But I could not keep going like that. And so over a dinner conversation with my husband, we were just like, all right, like we need like a real change. And we both felt it coming for a while. And so then after one dinner conversation, we put our house up for sale, packed up our entire life, sold our house within 30 days, and put our entire life into an RV and ended up in Southern California in an apartment that we never saw in person. Like it was just like, all right, we're just doing this. Like, I just wanted a complete restart. I took down my website. You couldn't find me as a photographer anywhere. I just wanted like a season on the beach. My kids were 3 and 5 at that time. And I just wanted to be like, I wanted to feel the sun and just to hang on the beach and not have like a deadline that I was like working around, or like, event I had to fly to. So yeah, that's kind of what my journey has looked like. I took a year-long sabbatical to kind of reassess and figure out what I wanted to do next. And during that time, my photographer friends started reaching out and being like, well, I've already built like a community from shooting so much. They're like, you're not shooting anymore. Can you help with my social media? Like, what are you doing these days? Can you take on my social media? And so then I kind of just slowly started taking on accounts and started doing social media management. So I actually ended up in the real space first doing social media management for photographers, creatives, preset companies, and quickly like ramped up 20 clients. So I was managing 20 clients a month doing social media management. And again, was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? I'm working 14-hour days. Like there's
back to square one.
Exactly. I'm like, I just end up in this vicious cycle over and over again. But this time I was smarter. This time I was like, all right, we got to scale back. I ended up letting go of some of the clients that I was managing. And then that's actually when Reels were booming. And everybody wanted us to create Reels for them. And we were doing that manually for each one of our clients. And we were doing a lot of Reels manually. And I was like, hey, well, we obviously like know what's working. What's, a faster way to automate this and streamline it. And so that's how Social Templates was born. It's, plug and play Reel templates for all photographers where you can just put in your own content. We beat match it for you. We do 90% of the work for you. Like all you have to do is like add in your content and post to Instagram. So made it really, really easy. But the journey's been wild getting here. And I love it. And this is where I'm at today.
I guess when you were a photographer, how was your social media? why did people reach out to you and be like, hey, Angela, can you do our social media for us? I guess that's always been like your thing.
Yes and no. So like, I didn't have this like incredible like online presence. I didn't have hundreds of, thousands of followers, but I was very good at curating the feed so that it had like a specific aesthetic, that I would know how to attract my clients. I knew how to niche down. I also came from a time when like blogging was a thing. So, I mean, blogging is still a thing, but like when blogging was like the main source of like putting your content out there, Facebook albums were a thing, and submitting your work to blogs was huge. And so photographers would go through this process of like curating their work to be submitted to Style Me Pretty or like all these other blogs. And so I got really good at just knowing what images would resonate with potential brides or images that would do well within like, an online space like that. So it wasn't because I had like a crazy amount of followers, but more because I really understood the photographer and I knew how to, curate the feed to really reflect the brand. So when I jumped into social media management, curated feeds were like at an all-time high. Like a perfectly curated feed was what was doing really well. Mm-hmm. And I knew how to execute that on behalf of the photographers that didn't have time to do that.
Yeah, I feel like that was one of the hard, or still is one of the hardest things for me on social media. Is like,
I feel like,
does it flow? Does it look pretty?
I feel like people that's gone out the window lately. Like,
like me. You look at my feed; it's all over the place. So
no, so that doesn't matter anymore.
I'm listening right now.
No, I think these days, like that's not what really makes or breaks your engagement, or even attracts people to your account. So thankfully, like we don't have to be as focused on it. Obviously, you still want your brand like translated in your images, but to have like, does this image work next to this image, and getting like really hung up on the aesthetics of it. Thankfully, we don't have to do that as much anymore. So you guys are good.
That was so stressful.
Yeah, because like some of the photographers that I followed, they were very like huge on keeping that. It's basically like when you go to their profile, that feed was like a portfolio, right?
Yep.
And now, like you go on everyone's pages, the same people that I used to follow. There's like reels everywhere. There's like BTS taken with their cell phone. So nothing no longer really fits the whole aesthetic, but like the image is what still shows their style and branding.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yes. And I think the biggest contributor to that is that people got bored of seeing the pretty and the polished. And I like to say this phrase a lot. Your people like to follow the founder and not the brand. So they want to see the raw, the like challenges, what's happening behind the scenes, the journey, the story. So that's huge. And so when, there's a perfectly curated feed, but with no human soul behind it, people quickly lose interest. So yeah, showing the raw and the behind the scenes is actually so good.
Yeah, that's what we've been preaching a lot lately because
definitely, yep.
It's been a time right now where people are concerned about bookings and engagement on Instagram and all that stuff. And they kind of give up on Instagram because all they're posting is their portfolio and they kind of refuse or don't want to show themselves or the behind the scenes or the grittiness of like running a business. And we're trying to say like, look at the brands that even you follow. Like, I'm sure you enjoy more seeing the behind the scenes stuff than just the products. You want to see all of it.
No, I think one thing that I'm struggling with photographers and even people that are subscribed to our reel templates is like not understanding the purpose of a reel and trying to show off their photos in like a slow slideshow manner within the reel space. And communicating this to them, I think that's just been like the most challenging part for me is I'm like, this is not a place for you to show off your portfolio. This is not where you do a slideshow for your clients even, because I've had comments from photographers saying, well, your reels are too fast and my clients want them slower. It's like, no. The reels that you're creating on your profile are not for your clients. If you can share them with your clients, like great, that's like an added bonus. But if you want to create a client slideshow, like use, Smart Slides or like any of the other galleries that have that feature that you can share that with your clients. Reels is not the space to do it. Reels is like a lead magnet. You put out some of your content, you do a little previews. You have to think about like where people are consuming that content, right? They could be on their phone, on the couch at the end of the night, scrolling while also watching Netflix. And they're watching like cooking videos and funny, engaging things. And then like your photography work pops up. and it's a slow slideshow. And it gives them no reason to like head to your page and binge your content. So I think understanding a lot of times, like, yes, you care about your work being like viewed in a portfolio format, but Reels is not the space to do that. And like with social media, you know, right now it's showing more of the behind the scenes and the human instead of focusing so much on it being like these portfolio pieces. Yep. All right, rant over.
Yep.
Was that it?
You could keep going, but I'm very passionate about this.
Than I do.
Yes, that was a nice rant.
That was a very nice rant. But this is very much aligned with what I teach a lot of my students as well. You know, the thing is, pretty portfolios at great prices. Everyone is offering that in the universe, right? Everyone and their grandmas are showing pretty photos, great customer service at a great price. The thing is, what people need to realize is that the product isn't the photos. The product is you. You are the product. And if you want people to buy into that product, they need to know you, the business owner. You are the brand. You know what I mean? And I think I got into a conversation with somebody else. I don't remember who it was, but they were like, well, you know, sometimes my brand is not a personal brand. You know, my face, my brand doesn't have a face. I'm not the face of my brand. My brand is just the product, right? And I didn't know how to respond to that. Maybe that's because I'm coming from a place where my face is the brand. Karis is the face to her brand. And like me and Karis, we are the face of our associate brand. So to me, that was, I don't know. Like, even if you look at like Oreos, right? Or Coca-Cola or McDonald's, there's faces. I mean, you're not getting the pictures of the CEO or anything like that, right? But like, how do you incorporate the human element into, I guess, a brand that's, I don't know, it's more than just its products.
That insurance company, Ed, what is it?
Which one? The one with the duck you talking about?
Affleck?
No. The girl. It used to be the girl where she's wearing an apron.
Oh, Progressive. Progressive.
Yes, they did it really well.
Well, that's a spokesperson. That's different, right?
I know, but they put she was like pretty much the human behind. She was it.
So, for instance, right, you have an album company like Miller's, which is who the Molinas use, right? It's an album company. I don't know if we're necessarily getting BTS of the CEO, you know, doing her talk and her spiel and things like that. But you are getting a lot of the humans who are overseeing the production of this product. I think you shared with me that, you know, they have their workers or they have whatever. They're just talking about different stages of the process of building these albums for their customers and stuff. And I think people appreciate that. It's not just a pretty album at a reasonable price and quick turnaround times and great service, right? It's also the humans behind that. And I think that is probably what appealed you guys to them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I feel like back then they didn't really show that stuff till they hired their new social media girl they have now, but she does a really good job at showing the faces behind like what makes Miller's Miller. Like, they don't have to show the owner, but they're constantly showing like even the guy who's like packaging the boxes and the person who's just doing the printing. They're showing you everyone, you know, and
the humans.
And as you know, for us, the company that we've been supporting for over a decade, we love seeing that because we've actually met them in person. We've gone to dinners together, and they want some recognition too. They work hard.
Of course, yep.
And I like to say that, you know, as humans, we like to make emotional purchases. Like, we like to feel good about how we're spending our money and where we're putting our money. And so, you know, even when it comes to like choosing a photographer, if you're following someone and they're sharing their journey and the behind the scenes versus like a couple other photographers that have great work, but like you don't have like that emotional attachment to them, you're going to feel so much better about like putting your money into that business and supporting that creative. You know, maybe it's a mom, maybe it's a, you know, young new photographer that's hustling in New York, and you feel good about, you know, putting your business there when you see like the heart and soul behind the brand as well. So I think it's like such a, you know, psychological thing as well when we spend with companies that we want to support.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question for you, Angela. So what are your thoughts on maybe incorporating some more of your personal life into your business, your brand, you know, your public-facing brand? Like, for instance, let's say my family and I, we go to Disney or something like that. Would that be something that I would put on my feed for my business? So people get a sense of what my personal life is like?
Yeah, so I would recommend choosing a couple elements from your life that you consistently share with your audience. So, some people are very private about sharing their family life or their kids or their spouse. So, that wouldn't be a good fit for them. But choosing little points of connection that you can have with your audience. It could be anything from like, I like tacos. And so every time you're going out to eat tacos, you're posting about it. Your followers that like tacos are able to connect, comment on it. It's Taco Tuesday. Next thing you know, your clients are sending you, pictures of their tacos. And so having, usually just like a handful of these connecting points that you choose from your life that you want to share. So you absolutely do not have to share everything. And I think sometimes, unless you're like a lifestyle brand, if you try to share everything, right, you're sharing your photography and your family life and your travel and then your favorite food, it gets overwhelming, it gets messy, and it's harder to establish those points of connection versus, picking a few select things. Maybe, you like to upgrade your seat in the airplane when you always travel. And that's like something you talk about, or like you figured out how to use points for that, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be like, related to photography, but as long as it, creates a point of connection with the humans that are following you, and having just a few of those and kind of staying consistent with that. Obviously, like if you no longer like tacos, you can shift it a little bit.
We're going to talk about pupusas. We're going to be talking about pupusas instead.
I'm about to make a reel about eating pupusas.
Pupusas every time. Yeah.
No, but it's true. Like, I know a lot of people are hesitant because they don't realize, like what you said, like there can be a middle ground. You don't have to share everything. Because sometimes they'll see accounts where it's like the person's entire life, and you can tell their life is curated for social media, and it can come off a little fake. So like people in our industry would be like, well, I'm not going to do all that. I don't want to put my business out of there. I don't want to see my personal life. It just seems so fake. But finding a middle ground of, like you said, finding those connection points of little things that people can relate to, and just putting them out there every now and then so that they can see who you are as a person and they know who they're working with.
And I probably wouldn't share it on your feed for permanent, stay. Mm-hmm. Like it would probably be something that you would share on stories and kind of maybe even weave into your email, marketing, if that works, if it makes sense, for people that feel like they have like a more intimate relationship with you. But then, keeping your feed more geared towards, showing off your work and behind the scenes and professional images, and then using these points of connection, like, on stories and kind of in like more...
Taco Tuesdays only needs to show up in my stories and real stories. Doesn't have to show up on the evergreen part of my Instagram feed.
Yeah, every Tuesday.
Yeah. This world is new for me. You guys know, like Instagram is... I mean, I wouldn't say it's new. I mean, I've been using it, but like I don't really use all of its features.
Yeah, but you're creating the content. You're just not posting it on Instagram. You're posting it on your Facebook. All you gotta do is like take clips from that video that you're producing. Because what Ben does, Angela, he does like a whole BTS video of when he's on his way to shoot an engagement session, and he includes his clients.
That is on Instagram. It's on Instagram.
Not all the time. I see it on Facebook more than Instagram, I feel like.
Well, that's because you're on Facebook more then, right? But
he's old school. He's a little old school.
Yeah.
Everything that I put on Instagram is on Facebook and vice versa, like work-related stuff. It's always on both.
You're posting a video. You're just posting the video on Instagram, right? You're not turning that into like a reel or anything.
They are reels, no?
But you also have them horizontal, so technically...
Oh no, not the horizontal videos. My heart hurts.
There you go.
Why are you guys gonna throw me under the bus like that? Oh
no. This is a public announcement to anybody listening. Please, no black line, no black squares, below and above the images, no horizontal videos. Everything has to be full screen for reels. It has to be full screen. So crop your images 10:16. Like your engagement is going to be so much better. Sorry to put you on the spot like that, but this is, I guess, photographers come to us and they say, we want our reels to have better engagement, but then they don't follow the rules. You gotta play the game a little bit. You have to make it full screen. You have to make it quick and engaging. So
what do you suggest for like Ben
Because my pictures, my pictures are horizontal, so that's why I'm just trying to make it seamless. Otherwise, I have to start recording all my BTS.
So would you have to record twice, or do you have to record? But what if it doesn't fit cropped?
So for Reels specifically, I would recommend cropping, and it's really easy to crop within the camera roll on an iPhone. I hope you have an iPhone, yes?
Yeah.
Well, not Android. I'm kidding. We just lost half our listeners. No, I can edit. I can make vertical videos on Final Cut. That's not the problem. But the thing is, as I'm filming it, that means my vlogging camera needs to be vertical too.
Right, vertical. He needs to record vertical.
Well, I guess like if you are recording, horizontal, you can crop certain parts of the video and you can either stack them. So sometimes photographers will stack two videos to fit the full screen, or, showing parts of it. So just choosing to crop, like maybe you don't have the full video, but you have like just the couple that you're shooting in the video, or maybe just you kind of choosing which part to focus on. And then I know you said your photos are also horizontal. I encourage you to run like a comparison. Do your next reel at full screen. We actually just did this with Victor Lax. So I don't know if you guys want to look at his profile, but
who's that guy?
We know who he is.
So same thing, same thing happened where he was like, okay, Angela, give me some feedback on my reels. Like, what are we doing? And I said, it's too long and you have to make it full screen and it has to be faster. Basically all the same tips. And so he did his, he said, okay, this is like really crazy advice you're giving me, but I'm gonna test it and see what happens. So the next reel he posted using one of our templates, it was really short. It was like under 8 seconds versus his previous reel was 2 minutes.
Oh my God.
And
that's a slideshow.
2 minutes is long. 2 minutes is long?
Very long.
And so his next reel performed, I think it got over 165K views.
Nice.
Well, and almost 5,000. But it is Victor Lax, but the previous reel had only 14,000 views. Mm-hmm. So for somebody that has like such a big platform and has such a big audience,
that's 12 times more reach.
If the reel is not packaged in the way that is for the Reels algorithm, no matter how big your audience is, it's just not going to perform as well. So it's making these little adjustments where, you're using full screen, you're making it shorter, you're making it faster, adding like some sort of call to action or something on over the top, like text that gives the viewers context. So making these little adjustments and then like, boom. So then he did another reel after that, which, didn't get over 100K views, but it still performed, I think, like 4 or 5 times better than his previous reels because of just making these adjustments. So maybe you try that for yourself and see,
that means I got to shoot vertically too.
Here's like another tip I know is the hardest thing to do. I almost never shot vertical, and now I'm shooting on a wedding day. About 10% of my images are vertical.
Yeah, me too.
And the reason is for social media. Yep. I know it sucks and it's against what we've always what we've programmed to do, but I have Jen on my ass telling me to shoot verticals.
That's the other thing, right?
For the verticals.
Let me tell you something, right? So I've been doing this for about 14, going into our 15th year now, right? And about 3 years ago, we hired our youngest associate. He was like 21 or 22 at the time. Shout out to Anthony, okay, if you're listening. Actually, he's probably not listening to this, but in any case, he was 21, 22 when we brought him on board. And I kid you not, I would say about 90% of his images were vertical. I was like, you got to give me horizontal photos. I got to untrain you, right?
Yep.
Right? I was like, you can't be shooting vertical. I was like, you can't be doing this, right? And then lo and behold, he was correct. He was right. He was shooting for socials. He was shooting because he came from that world, right? And that's why he was shooting vertical for everything. But now that I stand corrected, he was right and I was wrong.
You can also stack your images. So stack 3. So if you've got, 3 verticals, stack them. Those do well too. Like if you just use it the whole screen.
You mean like stack 3 horizontals?
Yeah, stack 3 horizontals.
Video guys do that. Yeah, video guys do that all the time. Matt Koza did that for a while too.
Yep,
he would have he would have 3 videos on top of each other.
You just have to fill the screen, I think. Yep.
I do that for stories now because, like you said, like we do shoot some great like landscapes or wider images. And then when you crop them, it like hurts a little bit.
Yes.
But I suck it up because I know the strategy, but it hurts me.
It hurts me more.
Yeah.
Guys, remember, Rolando, do you remember when we went out to the desert and I did this huge panel? Actually, you guys know, it was a 150 image panel that could have been done with 20 images, but I just went a little overboard with the frames.
Or just one shot, but
it was a gorgeous. No. It wouldn't. I have a wide shot. It doesn't look as pretty as the panel, right? And it was gorgeous. And you know what? It hurted my heart just to have it already not in that aspect ratio. It was already cut from this, right? And I can't imagine how painful it would be to go from that to like this, right? I don't know what I would do with myself. But again, I understand. You got to, you just have to play by the rules as you have them. You didn't make the rules. You just have to play the game as it was designed to your benefit.
Just shoot one horizontal and one vertical.
Yeah, whatever. We'll figure it out.
Or then just settle for less engagement. That's also okay.
Yeah, or whatever.
Or that. Yes.
So,
I gotta shoot everything vertically.
Angela, tell us what the behind the scenes for you looks like, because I know it's a very, very small team. So tell us like how the inner workings of Social Templates Co. is.
All right, where do I start? There's so much research that goes into the back end. So for those that don't know, we release new templates for photographers to use every single week. So Thursday, Friday, end of the week, we always drop new content, and it's 7 to 10 new templates that are released every single week. So, we're constantly looking at what's trending, what the trending audios are, and all the templates that are released are based off of trending audios. So, doing the research on that, actually from logging in through different accounts to make sure that we're getting, a well-rounded experience, that we're not just, curating everything to like the one account that we're seeing. So doing that research, and then also, thinking through like a trending audio, can it be paired with a lot of images? So a lot of our templates are very photo heavy. And so in order for photo heavy reels to perform well within a space that's created to be entertaining and lighthearted, and then the photographers want their work seen and shown within that space, it has to be perfectly beat matched. It has to be quick and engaging. And so sometimes, with some of the trending audios, we aren't even able to use them because there's not like an engaging way to beat match the photos to the music. So we'll skip that. So a lot of multiple days actually go into the prep work of figuring out what audios are trending, what we can use as a template. And then because our community is so broad as far as the type of photographers that use our content, we have, family photographers, maternity, weddings, senior portraits, branding, just everybody across the board. If they're shooting, there's probably somebody. We even have dog photographers within our community. So when we are creating a template, we're always thinking about how it can be used across multiple niches. So if it could be used for a wedding and then also family photos and maybe something else. Or if we're doing a branding shoot type template, then we're thinking, okay, can this be applied to senior photography and sports? So making sure we hit all the categories, something fast and edgy is always there. Something more slow and romantic, something that's a photo only template. So somebody that has zero behind the scenes, we make sure that there's at least, one of those that gets dropped. And then something that's very video heavy, which we have been focusing on more lately. And we're going to keep focusing on that. I feel like in the past, I have kind of caved to the requests that we were getting, we don't have behind the scenes, give us more photo heavy templates. And I get that. But also then people come back to us saying, well, we want engagement to be higher. And I'm like, well, do you want to be making photo only reels, or do you want engagement to be higher because video performs better? So I think in the last few months, I've really stepped into the educator part of educating our community about what performs better and what type of reels are going to give you bigger reach and bigger engagement and better results. And so focusing on video content a little bit more now. And I think pushing our community to focus on getting behind the scenes, teaching them how to get better behind the scenes, encouraging them to bring an assistant, that is able to do that. And I mean, there's so many ways where behind the scenes content can benefit the photographer, not just for social media, but for networking purposes and, the entire wedding team or if it's not a wedding, if it's an event, can benefit from that. Kind of went off topic there for a second, off script.
But I love it.
So focusing on making sure like we hit all of the criterias when we are creating the templates. There's a lot of like thought and intentionality that goes into that, which I think sometimes probably like just isn't noticed because they just new templates drop, people don't think about it much.
Right.
And then once we figure out the template, like the audios that we want to use, then I'm going through, we have content banks of content photographers have shared with us that have behind the scenes and the images and trying to figure out, which content to pair with which audio. And then we manually create the template right inside of Instagram. So I don't know if we mentioned this earlier, but I feel like this needs to be said. Our templates are not an outside app. They are a private Instagram account. Yep. I feel like we didn't disclose that. So private Instagram account that you get access to when you join the membership. And so within this private Instagram, you're not downloading another app, you're not learning anything, you're not having to transfer things, which is also why we're able to work with trending audios because everything's within Instagram. It's already licensed through Instagram. So we're not dealing with any licensing issues. And so we will build the template out manually. I will get all the content, added to the template. And then my husband, he's actually a musician, or he has, musical background. He does the beat matching. So I set up the template, and then he, joins me usually during the last 2 days before the templates go live. He does the beat matching manually because I trust him so much with getting that part right. And then, we release the templates to the community. And obviously we also try to share reel prompts to stories to help encourage photographers, to use the templates and give them ideas of what to post about. But that's basically the gist of it. We do the research, build the template, share it with the community, and then recycle and do it all over again.
How long does it take to make one reel?
Usually the average. So I've been doing this already steadily for almost 2 years now, every week. And we are still at about an hour per template. Wow. So somebody that's been doing it regularly, it still takes about an hour per template because of just the manual work and the tediness of it. And the other thing is I was at a conference all this week. And I was like, all right, it's going to be really hard to come back, Friday and then still have to create all of that content. So I spent the whole week before prepping, double batching everything. So being hey, this is going this week. This is what's going to go next week. We made all the reel templates and I was I'm going to be, at my conference, at the end of the conference, I'm going to post all of these. I feel so prepared. And so we had everything saved to drafts and then none of the drafts would open. So it was such a bummer. We had spent literally 2 days working on prepping all these drafts so that I could be on top of it. And even now, I understand all the frustrations photographers go through when you're working on your reels and you're trying to batch them and prep them so you can post later. And then none of our drafts loaded. I mean, obviously I already had the research done about which audios we were going to use, which images, but still having to recreate everything manually. It was frustrating to say the least.
Yeah, that's my worst nightmare because, back to batching. Because of you, I batch everything. So I'll do 8 to 10 in a day. And now, because we're going away next week or when we go away to conferences, I'll do them all in advance, like you mentioned. That's my worst nightmare, to go back and not be able to post anything. I think one thing happened to me funny that we batched them here and then we went out of the country and that audio wasn't available in that country. So I would just I couldn't repost it. I would have had to wait till I came back to the US to be able to post it. So that was something I learned along the way too. That was you think you're prepared, but there's always some unknown curveball that's going to hit you.
Are you saving them to your camera roll? So when you create add this into your workflow. This is going to just a safety net. So when you finish creating everything and you're about to save the draft, save it to your camera roll. It will save it without the audio, but the entire reel is going to be beat matched. All your content is going to be there. So you're protecting yourself from it ever. If your drafts don't load, you can just pull up that video from your camera roll and it will sync up perfectly with that audio. So if you go back to that same template, you just tap on the audio, use audio and you pull it up from your camera roll, you're double protected. So just add that little step. I know maybe you haven't encountered really big glitches with the drafts yet, but this will just keep it keep it extra seamless.
The best thing about like glitches and things like that is that you know it only has to happen once, and then you'll learn how to avoid it the second time around.
Yep.
So there's a silver lining to making mistakes, you know, or not making mistakes, but like just experiencing these glitches and hiccups. It only has to happen once. If you're smart, it only has to happen once. If you're not smart like I am, you continue to post reels with horizontal videos and stuff for years. But I guess my next question is or follow-up question, it is somewhat related. Well, somewhat related to what we talked about, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, right? Because I didn't get a chance to ask. So, I don't know if this is a deep dive or not, but how long do you recommend these reels should be for maximum engagement?
Okay, so this is going to be a little bit controversial advice because I think for photo reels, there's slightly different parameters than there are for like reels in general. So, you know, with what is, you know, happening in the world right now with 2024, we're seeing more and more long form content. So like vlog style reels, you know, vlogging your day, talking to the camera type, get ready with me, storytelling, things like that, or like come along with me and you show the whole day. So those are very like engaging and interesting. And the most important metric on a reel is the watch time. So how far does somebody get on watching your reel? That's like literally like probably the most important thing to focus on. Yes.
Are we talking about like percentage of the reel finished, or how many seconds or how many minutes they're watching? When you say watch time?
A percentage of how far they get to the end. So like you want someone to make it all the way to the end and for the reel to restart. So once the reel restarts and the same person is watching it, it like sends a signal to the algorithm that this is like quality content. People are rewatching it. And so it gets pushed out to more and more people, which is why you see all of those reels that are like 3 to 5 seconds long. And there's like a lot of text and you have to like, you know, stay on that reel and you're like trying to read it, but it's like re-looping. And then they have like thousands and millions of views because, you know, it's a hack that you could do to get more.
Got it.
So watch time is important. So with our photo reels, we make them really short, and the recommendation is to keep them between 7 to 8 seconds long. So you don't want them longer than 15 seconds ever, because what are the chances of some random stranger watching somebody else's wedding slideshow or any type of photo session, family shoot all the way to the end if it's longer than 15 seconds. Like you want to actually keep it at like 7 or 8 seconds, because the viewer that's watching it, unless it's like some epic shoot that has like some extraordinary content that nobody's ever seen before, that's going to, you know, make people stop and want to keep rewatching it. There's just not a lot of reason for, you know, your followers to stick around and watch the whole thing. Sure, they might get like 5 seconds in and get a feel for like what the session is going to be like or what the wedding day looked like. But, you know, it being like longer isn't usually going to do well. And then creating something that like shows behind the scenes of the process, then you're able to like, I guess, have people stay a little bit longer, where you're like, all right, here's the behind the scenes. Here's what, you know, the area looked like. Here's the final image that we got. It gives people like a little bit more reason to stay. They're not just like watching a slideshow. But anything that's especially just photos only, you just have to like, I guess, keep in mind who's watching it, where it's showing up in like what space, and keeping them short. And as long form content is going to keep taking over moving forward, like we're going to see more and more of it, it's going to be interesting to see how the photo reels will live in this space, and how, you know, photographers are going to keep people watching the reels and staying on their content. Which, I mean, my recommendation is always like, you know, creating savable and shareable content. So anytime somebody can bookmark your content to revisit it later, it also, you know, sends a signal to the algorithm like, oh, people are saving this. So must be valuable. So it should show it to more people. So anytime you can give like advice on like what to wear to a shoot, or like how to plan your timeline, or, you know, things I wish I did differently when I was planning my wedding, or whatever it is, that people can reference later, is always good.
Is a good strategy for that? Or what are your thoughts on when they have like very short reel and then like all the advice is in the caption as like read below and then like everything's there?
So it is like what's working with the algorithm right now. we don't know how long it's going to take people to get like fatigued from that attempt. I feel like a lot of times like certain strategies will pop up, or like even certain hooks to use on your reel. Use this hook to get more views. And it starts working with a lot of people. And then everybody jumps on board and starts doing the same thing. So as consumers of the content, the audience gets fatigued. They're like, oh, we've seen that trick before. And so we almost like become like immune to it and we stop responding. So something that's like working well for engagement, you know, maybe last year, it's not going to do so good. Well, you know, maybe next year, because people are able to kind of like see through like these hacks and tactics. And so, yes, that's working right now. And yes, if you are providing like very valuable information in the caption, let's say you're giving people like instructions how to get to a specific venue, or, you know, here's my secret spot where I shoot senior portraits in our city, and you give people instructions on how to get there, people are going to save it, and people are going to read the caption because they're like, oh, you know, those wildflowers, they look amazing. I want to go take photos there as well. So if you're providing actual value, people will save it and it will be beneficial and your reel will do well. If it's a lot of fluff, like, oh, I got to make this caption really long, like nobody's going to get to the end of it. So yes and no.
I hope you don't mind indulging with me for a little bit, right? So
the older guy in the group.
I'm not that much older than you guys, all right?
I know, I'm messing around.
So, by the way, Angela, I'm 60 years old. Asians don't raisin, you know?
Asians, you never know.
I'm actually 150 years old. So how I'm currently using the Reels portion of my my Instagram account, I'm vlogging my photos, right? I'm vlogging them. There is a slideshow component to it. However, there's also a vlogging component. Hey guys, I'm here in the desert. I'm doing this kind of shoot with this couple, and you know, this is the stuff that I'm encountering. These are the backdrops that I'm encountering, and you know. Or maybe it's a wedding day. Hey, listen, you know, this wedding day is here at this venue, and the reason why I do it this way is so that way, you know, hopefully the venue will share it to their audience, that the couples will share it with the audience. Maybe new people will see it, right? I mean, now I know I need to shoot it vertically, right? But these videos are usually about 1:30, no more than 2 minutes. Usually about 1:30, right? So I don't know if I can fit all of that into like 8 seconds. You know what I mean? Because it's a video and it's a video component of, you know, just me talking to the camera. This is what you can expect. This is what I'm working with, giving you a little bit of behind the scenes kind of thing. So like, how should I go about doing that? Because I personally enjoy doing that, you know?
Yeah, actually, I think you're ahead of the curve here. So props to you, because this is what I mean by like long form content is going to be doing better moving forward, is because what Instagram is basically trying to do is have all of these, you know, creators within Instagram basically kind of like becoming like YouTubers, you know, in a sense, like they're going to be vlogging their content. And so for you to be able to get on and talk, so that's like one of the long form reels that, you know, would perform better. Maybe if you could like make some adjustments to like how you package it when you deliver it. But long form content like that, like you showing up on video, you talking to the camera, you're showing the results, that's actually good. So I'm talking about 8 to 7 seconds, it being like very photo heavy, and maybe having like a small behind the scenes video, like here's these results, you know. If you are, and those are usually paired with like trending audios, and there's like usually like a beat drop right after the video, like a little behind the scenes video. But if you are, you know, using your own voice as like a voiceover, or you're talking to the camera, then I would recommend, using like 90 seconds to do that. Obviously, keeping it engaging the entire time. So if something feels like it's like lingering just a little bit too long, you know, trimming it as much as you can, cutting out all the ums and pauses and introductions.
I got that part, we're good there.
I haven't seen any of that. But like
all the ums from today's recording, they never happened. Okay. Okay.
And I think, with like those reels, just having them start out like very much like abruptly, you know. So I think
sure, I understand.
Yeah. So, and I think you're actually gonna see probably more growth with that, and you know, maybe making some adjustments.
I just got to shoot it vertically. That's all.
Just the frame.
Long form content is good. Creating long form content is good, and it's evergreen, and it's you already connecting with your followers, you know, not even on stories, but within your reels. So I think you're doing a great job.
Good job. Thanks. Yep. Well, I mean, maybe after we get done with this recording, maybe you can. I mean, do you do audits? Do you charge for audits?
I mean, I just support my community. So if you just want to pop on over, I don't charge.
I'm really
for
proud of this last one that we put together because it's the first one I'd done in a long time, right? Because I'd stopped vlogging for a little while because I'm busy doing other things. But I remember how much I enjoyed doing these kind of videos, these BTS type of videos. Now I know I got to do it vertically, but yeah, 90-second limit, shooting vertically, before and afters, and a CTA at the end. It's very important that we do a CTA at the end of every video, right?
I would encourage that. And I would probably do some sort of hook in the beginning that could either be a CTA or a hook that, just gets people to stay. Here's, you could say, here's, a mistake I made while I was shooting. And like, I don't know, maybe you don't make mistakes, but like just something in order to get them to stay.
Oh, you know what? That Vegas, the desert video that you made, the mistake was we went in the wrong trail.
Yep.
So that was perfect.
So I got to make a new video now. Okay, whatever.
So you can say how we got lost in the desert and ended up with epic images. Yeah. Just to get people to watch to the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to think
about.
Oh my God!
It feels very clickbaity, but I know that's how the game is played. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sounds very clickbaity, but them's the praise.
Gotta adapt, Ben. Gotta adapt.
No, I feel the same way.
Everything's so sensational. Everything is so sensational. I feel like the New York Post. Like, I gotta go do research at the supermarket and get headline ideas from the New York Post. Karis wants to be an influencer. She's gonna be the next.
I was just gonna tell Ben, just do stuff what our kids are watching, and then we'll be good.
I know, unboxing videos.
Stuff, all the stuff kids are watching. That's what you
toy
need
reviews.
To, that's what we need to be doing. Toy reviews. Old news.
My unboxing videos. My unboxing videos would be super boring. But you know what? Do you know what just came in the mail today from Amazon? A couple of wires and a hard drive enclosure. That would be the most boring unboxing video ever.
You have a cool stuff coming. Very cool stuff coming tomorrow.
Oh, is it coming tomorrow from Japan?
Yeah, it's coming tomorrow.
That's really fast.
Ben's got a G2 too. Ben's got our contacts.
Ooh. Oh, did you?
Oh, amazing. That's my favorite camera.
You want to hear something fun? I don't know if I talked about this publicly yet. Well, I did, but not too many people. So I was like, oh, film sound like, after the Molina started shooting with film, I was like, oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. Because Ro's like, I have to slow down. I got to be more intentional because every click I make, it's $1.
Money.
It costs $1 every time I press that shutter button. So I have to be very intentional. I have to be very whatever. And the clients seem to enjoy the experience of getting these photos back and all that good stuff. So I was like, these are all positive. These are all good things that I want for my own business, for my own clients too. So I was like, all right, maybe I'll mess around with film. But all I had was an old film camera that I inherited from my dad. It was like a 40-year-old camera, but like I barely use that thing. So my wife, she's graduated to her G2. So now she's got this old Nikon film camera that she's not really using. So I was like, all right, I'll take it. And I took it out for a spin for the most recent wedding that I did. And I was very excited too that day. I showed up, I was like, hey, listen, Bride, I got this new thing that I'm trying out. I'm not going to charge you for it, right? But I'm very excited. I'm going to be using this camera and it's going to be awesome. But don't worry, I'm not charging you for it. And whatever I get, you'll get, okay? And then I take the film back. And I ship it off to get developed. And then I get an email from the lab, and they're like, Mr. Lau, I regret to inform you that the entire roll is blank.
No.
I think the film was loaded incorrectly or something, right? I didn't take any pictures the whole day. I was excited, just chasing everything around, just shooting everything. And the film was either not loaded or I don't know what happened.
See, that would have made a great reel if you have documented the experience.
And here are my images, and it's just blank.
So anyway, so now hopefully with this G2, I don't have to worry about that stuff. But anyway, I'm still going to use the manual camera, right? Because there's still something to be said about, just something very tactile. Yeah. It's something very intentional about, shooting with a manual camera. But I feel like such a noob.
Is that you didn't take any baby steps. You just went straight to one of the most popular cameras for film.
G2?
No, I'm talking. Well, no. Well, I'm not using it. I don't have it's coming tomorrow. I haven't touched it yet. I was
well,
using.
You have it. You're welcome.
Yeah, you ordered it.
Actually, I ordered it. He's like, you buy it, you pay for it. I'm like, okay.
Well, we had a nice album sale yesterday, so that's paying for it, right? But no, it feels really nice in the hands. The FM2, it feels really nice in the hands. So I'm gonna give it another shot for the next wedding. I think my next wedding is next weekend, so I'm gonna give it a shot.
Gorgeous photos.
Well, now you can do like a before and after reel of like my first experience with film, and now where I'm at now.
There's a picture of me really. There's a picture of me on that wedding day, right? My first time, holding a film camera on a wedding day. I'm so happy. I'm smiling. So you guys want to see the result from this day? My first time music film is just a white frame.
That would be perfect. And then you put your newer stuff and say, this is my journey. This is where I've come.
Yeah.
Speaking of journey, Angela, tell us about WPPI, because that was like a whole experience.
Oh my gosh.
Like the biggest event for you since starting your business, right?
Yeah. So we haven't done a trade show like that or any trade show before that. And I just had a baby. I don't know if we've mentioned this anywhere. I just had a baby 7 months ago now.
Oh my gosh.
So I have 2 older kids that are 10 and 12, and I have a 7th-month-old. And at the time of WPPI, he was barely 6 months old. And somebody asked me, like, are you guys going to be at WPPI? I think asking if I was going to attend this show, like just as a attendee. And then I was like, wait, why don't we have a booth there? Like, that sounds kind of fun. Like, I wonder what that looks like. So I reached out to the hosts of WPPI 3 weeks before the show started. So it was very much last minute. And I was like, I think we can do this. Like, how hard can it be? Right. And so then the next 3 weeks, it was like, all right, we're ordering backdrops that are 10 by 8. Like, where do we get these printed so that they get shipped in time? And things were still arriving to my house the day I was driving out to Vegas.
Oh my gosh.
As far as print materials and trying to figure out like what we were going to do. And the Saturday before the show, we were filming the promo video in my living room, like trying to put it all together. I had incredible friends that came through and were like, I can help with this. I can help with this. So it was just very much like unexpected, like all the help and support that I got. But we made it there and I had no idea what to expect. I'm like, we don't have like an ideal spot on the floor. We're not sure what this is going to look like, but it'll be good for like some brand exposure, hopefully. And then we were just floored by the response we got. It was like nothing I expected at all. Last day we had our last customer leave and I just like sat down on the carpet and bawled. Like I just cried because I was just so overwhelmed with just the experience and the way that the community embraced us and speaking to people that were coming up to us and were like, oh my gosh, this is like so amazing. Like, I need this. Where have you guys been? And then we had our affiliates that like really stepped up and wanted to help. I mean, Jenn like volunteered her time.
And her voice.
And her energy. Just wanting to, help and support. And so many people were like excited for us to be there. Vanessa Joy had like a big talk that she did where she basically talked about social templates for like a big chunk of her talk. And we had no idea that she was going to do that. It was not sponsored. It was like, she just is one of our users and loves what we do. And so then, we got this like massive crowd of people coming from her talk being like, Vanessa was telling us this and this and this, and was telling us about you being a mom with a baby doing this thing. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like totally did not expect that at all. I like found her later and like hugged her and I was like, tearing up. I was like, you did not have to do that. Like, this means so much. And so I think, and it wasn't just her, it was like, multiple people that have had like an encounter or like experience with our brand or our product that were just like talking about us. And a bunch of our like vendor friends were from other booths were like sending people our way. Mm-hmm. So we literally never got a break at the booth at all. Like, it was just constant flow of people. And it was like nothing I expected to experience at all. Like, just so overwhelmed and like so grateful and feel so supported by the community. Like, I mean, it was beyond my wildest dreams. Like, it literally felt like I was watching myself from the outside and watching our company like from the outside. It was like amazing. A crazy experience.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like nonstop. I mean, I was only there for a couple hours each day, but it was like constant flow, and not just of like people hearing it from other people, what you also did strategically well, which speaks to the power of Reels, is that you had those two huge screens, vertical, and they were just looping Reels. So people would just walk, like, you see how quickly people's attentions get like drawn in, which is the same thing they're doing on their phone. When they see a Reel, they just kind of like stop. That's what the screens were doing on the floor too, because people would just be like walking by and then come back and then be like, what is that? And then in their head, they're making a connection of like, okay, this has to do with social media, but I'm not sure what it is. So then they wanted to get more curious. And then once you explained what it was, they were just like,
sign me up.
Exactly.
Jenn, and I'm so grateful for you just volunteering your time. Like, that just meant so much to me and the team. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. It was fun. It's good to go out there and it's fun to go out and like speak to brands and things that you love. Because like I mentioned, I've been using you guys for almost a year. And it was also selfishly, I was like, damn, now everybody's gonna know about it. Wow. My little secret's out. But it was really cool to see like how much traffic you got and how busy you got, and how have things been since.
Well, I just came back from Hybrid Collective conference in Texas. And although like it's way smaller, it was under 300 people. But, and the first day of the conference, you're trying to get like the feel of like what it's going to be like. And, the response wasn't as instant as WPPI, where people like get a demo and they're like, sign me up. But this also was like camp style. So we were all there together for like 5 days, I think it was. Wow. And so then you're talking to people and you're, everybody's obviously like giving us like really great feedback and this and that. And then last day, it was just like signups galore. It was just like, all right, like I could not keep up. So it was just, again, like another experience that's been like, oh my gosh, like it's so great to be out there and connect with people, that are customers. And then also people coming up to us and being like, oh yeah, I already use you guys. We already subscribed. This is amazing. And then bringing their friends over. So I think that's kind of what we've been seeing in the last couple of months, is the domino effect of like it being a product that's so needed in the industry. And then people just bringing their friends in and being like, hey, how do I tell people about you? And so, Hybrid has just been like same thing. I'm just like still on a high from that one. And then I guess it's already April. So in 3 weeks, I'm going to do Evolve conference in Santa Barbara with Jamie. And then I'm considering doing Way Up North in Italy. So I don't know. Way up north, I'm like, can we do another conference? Like,
just go to Italy.
The momentum has just been like so great. And I'm, the only word I think that describes how I'm feeling is just like deep, deep gratitude, because this has been like my baby for so long. I've been like working on like making it perfect. And then like all of last year I was like pregnant and had a newborn. And so this year it's been like, all right, like let's tell the world about this, So the response has been just so, so amazing. And I'm so, so grateful.
How does this experience compare with when you worked as a photographer?
Oh man. If I'm really honest, I don't think I ever felt on such a high as a photographer as I do as a business owner now. And it's not just from like, oh, like this business model is amazing. It's from so many people giving us feedback of the difference that it's making for their business. They're like, Angela, before I wasn't posting at all. Like I wasn't even doing social media. This is now like, I can now do it. This is attainable. Like people coming to us saying like, I'm getting quality leads from Instagram now. And like people that are ending up in my contact form are saying they're finding me from Instagram, or moms that are like, I would spend so much time on Instagram and now like this is so easy and fast. I'm able to have like my evenings with the kids. So I'm going to get emotional talking about this. I just feel like because I was in a place where I got so burnt out as a mom and a creative, and being able to create something for the community that's like so needed right now. And like, 2024, like everybody feels the pressure of having a social media presence and, showing up on social media. And it's overwhelming to know like what audios to use. And we're able to like give them tools and actually like make a difference for photographers' lives. Like that's just feels like so rewarding. And, the feedback we're getting has just been like, I like screenshot every single nice message. And I have like a folder on my phone for like days when like, it's really hard. Cause things look glamorous on social media, but as a business owner, there are days where it's hard and you're like it's hard to keep going and it's a lot of work. And then like that folder of messages, I'm like, we are making, such a difference for a lot of creatives. And that's what really, keeps me going.
I feel like you just scratched the surface. I can't tell you how many times me, Ben, Jen are in our local Facebook groups, and somebody posted a comment the other day that was liked by a ton of people. They was like, when I started my business, I never signed up to be a social media manager or to be a content creator. And that comment was liked by like 15 people. People are like really sitting down and like debating on whether they should continue their business because they don't want anything to do with social media. And what you offer them is a chance to do it quickly and do it easily. So I feel like the more you're around, the more people will find out about what you offer. And I feel like this is just the beginning for you.
The thing is, this is speaking to someone who talks to these people, on a semi-regular basis. You give them the shortcut, you teach them how to do a shortcut. They're going to want a shortcut for the shortcut. So something that normally takes an hour and you got them down to like 2 minutes. They're like, I don't have time to do this 2-minute thing, So they're actually, what they're complaining about is that the fact that they have to do it at all, because some of these people
we're working on a solution. Proprietary information here, but sorry to interrupt. We're working on segueing virtual assistants into the space. So, just a little teaser here that there might be a way here really soon where you could use our templates.
Done for you. It's a DFY, right?
Look,
it's done for your service.
There's no excuse now.
Look, listen, guys. I've been
I'm
coaching
excited for that.
Yeah, I've been coaching for close to 3 years now, right? And the thing is, I've shown you the shortcuts. You don't have to do this for 6 months or a year. Now I've got it down. I can get all this done for you within 2 weeks, and still that's not short enough, right? I'm like, I can't do it for you. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for someone to do it for them, and they're willing to pay for that. Yep. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, just write this stupid blog, but like, just do it. Just write it. Just take an afternoon off and write it, and use AI if you have to. And they still won't do it. So I think that if Angela's doing what I think that she's doing, I think you will be onto something. Because people are not just looking for shortcuts. They're just basically, they just want it done for them. It just needs to be done.
Be done. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That'll open a whole new world for you, Angela.
We're going to have a separate department for that customer support.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Yep.
I guess, there was no better way to end that, I think. Is there anything else you want to share with us, Angela? Anything you want to make sure you didn't miss or you want to get across to everyone?
What are you working on right now aside from, well, actually, did you want to make that an unofficial announcement that you guys are working on something to help?
I think it's good to tease it. It's good to tease it because we're kind of starting to talk about it. There's not any official announcement yet, but I think it's good to put that out there.
Tease it. Well, yeah, that's cool. I'm totally looking forward to seeing all those developments and whatnot. Yeah. And where are you located?
Southern California,
right? Yeah. Southern California?
Like Newport Beach, Irvine, Garden of Eden, Paradise. Whatever you want to call it.
Newport Beach, I know. Newport Beach. I feel like we driven through all that area. We were driving.
How often do you ever make your way out here to the New York area?
Only for pleasure, actually.
Who comes out here for pleasure?
I really enjoy like city vibes, and so I'll go out and we'll do like a weekend and like do food and Broadway and things like that. So less than once a year though. So it used to be more frequently. Now we've got kiddos. I've always had kiddos, but now I have the baby. So not as often as I want, but I do love New York.
It's all right. Well, yeah, it's all right.
It's all right.
We love it.
It's good for a visit. It's
Yes.
Small
I'm sorry. I don't know if you said where when you packed up, sold your house, where were you living at then?
Oh, I was in Oregon. So Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
So
we were actually, it was raining.
Yeah, it was horrible. So we actually were going to move to Hawaii, and then that like fell through, and California was plan B. And thank God it was like, because we probably wouldn't have stayed in Hawaii forever. It would have been like a quote unquote season. But with California, we were like, well, we'll do a year. Okay, we made 2 years. 3, well, year 4, my husband and I were like not even asking each other. We're both just hoping that we were both okay staying. And then like year 5 rolled around. We're like, all right, so should we have this conversation? It's like, unspoken, like nobody wanted to leave, but we like agreed that we wouldn't stay forever. And now we're like, we had the talk. We're like, this is home. We're staying.
Yeah. It's gorgeous over there.
Yeah. Love it.
Like social media, it can get very toxic. And, sometimes you have to, if you want to continue staying on it, right, and not, complain about it all the time, you got to make it an enjoyable experience for you. You know what I mean?
Can I say something on that? I don't know. I wasn't here for that first talk, but I actually have probably 127, I think last time I checked, people that are blocked from my stories. I can't see them.
Wow.
And I recommend everybody do the same because I'm like, I don't want to ever overthink what I'm posting. Like, this is business and I'm here to connect with, photographers and whatnot. And so, having friends from high school or college or, relatives that are following your page, like they could see stuff I post to the feed. But I think on stories, a lot of times, like, you maybe push your products a little more, you talk about your business more. And I got to a point where I was always like overthinking everything. I'm like, what are my friends going to say? Is this too much? Am I always talking about my business? So then I just like blocked everyone. It's been the most freeing thing I've ever done.
I love it.
Highly recommend.
I love it.
So,
I'm with you 1000%. You and I just became best friends.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. But Angela, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We appreciate you so much, and hopefully awesome. We'll get you to come see us in person over here on the East Coast too.
I would love that.
Yeah, that would
thank
be
you so much for having me. I feel like you guys gave me so much space to share my heart. So thank you.
You are so welcome. I mean, we mentioned it earlier, but give us a drop to all your handles,
all
and
your
stuff,
socials, everything. How can people find you?
Super simple. Socialtemplates.co online and socialtemplates.co on Instagram.
Easy peasy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate
it. Bye.
It was so lovely to get to know the rest of the team.
Guys, don't sign off yet. We still need to sign off.
Okay. Am I leaving?
But Angela, you're good to go.
Yeah. You're good to go.
Okay, so I hang up, right?
Yeah, you're fine.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Bye.
So anyway, that was a great guest. Good get, Jen.
Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get.
She gave me ideas like on how to now when I go to venues, I'm gonna be like doing a little bit more.
Doing like, whoa, hey guys.
And also now with my vlogging camera, I'm gonna record that vertically now.
Yeah.
My vlogging camera. Yeah, I'm gonna do all that vertically. But then that means my my GoPro camera on top of my camera also needs to be sideways too, if I'm gonna be using that.
All needs to be vertical.
Not really. It each camera they should have a cropping mode where you just change the format.
Or you can get the Ray-Ban glasses that shoot vertical.
Yeah, the X2 is not it. That shit looks like a potato. The quality.
Or I just have to do in post production, just make it vertical. I just shoot the way I normally shoot, and just in post production make it vertical.
Choose what you show. That's the only thing, and make crop a lot of it. So
because the thing is, I want to post this stuff on YouTube.
One device shoot horizontal, one device shoot vertical. If you're gonna have two.
Yeah. So 2 GoPros on my camera. Did you see my setup already? It's ridiculous.
No. Maybe GoPro shoot vertical and your other Sony camera, but whatever.
Anyway, I'll figure it out.
That's you problem. You.
I'll figure it out. But at the very least, what I learned today, 2 things. I learned to shoot vertically a litlittle bit more. Yeah, shoot vertically a little bit more and get the videos to be a little shorter. And now I got to learn how to write hooks.
Yeah.
That's going to be Abby's department.
Well, you got a TikTok class that you bought. So
I haven't finished yet. I bought TikTok class. I bought a Taylor Jackson a course, and I also bought the SEO course. I got 3 courses I got to finish right now. But first, I got to finish mine.
And now we have Sue Bryce too.
Sue Bryce.
I can't get into Sue Bryce yet. Yeah, there's a lot of courses I got to finish, but I got to finish my course first because these people paid me money for this stuff already. So I got to make sure that I put all this stuff out. So, but yeah, I'm excited for that. So yeah, I got to get back to recording. But guys, it was awesome. Yeah, this was really cool. Good. Have fun in El Salvador. So guys, thank you so much for joining us today on our little talk with Angela Shea from Social Templates. If you guys would like to see some more behind the scenes and highlights and all that good stuff, you can check us out on our website at focused-af.com. You can also follow us on social media at focus.af. You can shoot us an email at hello@focused-af.com. On that note, are you guys focused AF?
We are.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, we're hungry. About to go
I'm getting pretty good at this closing out thing, aren't I?
You did very well.
Talking without a script. I've been doing it for a couple of weeks now.
Okay. Bye.
Feel a little
Bye.
better. All right, guys.
Bye.
I'm out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. Adios.
Bye.
Focused AF is a fun, business-focused podcast for wedding creatives.
Co-hosted by award-winning husband and wife wedding photography teams, Ben Karis
and Jenn Ro, where we help fellow wedding creatives with their sales and marketing.
With laid-back conversations and real talk with some of our most favorite people in the universe.
And with that being said, are you focused AF?
I am focused AF today.
We are focused AF.
I think I might be focused AF.
Welcome to the Focused AF podcast.